Hi there. Thanks for coming to the channel today. Mr. Sean here, letting you know that we now offer channel memberships as well as the ability to leave a tip. Your support is vital to the continued success and growth of this channel. You can also support the channel by joining the Patreon, buying a mini, or just being sure to tune in and like, comment, and subscribe. Enjoy the video.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is I, your host, Mr. Sean, and today we have a video that, you know what, it's a little bit of everything, so I'm just going to go ahead and call it Internet Cringe. Today I have 3 unique and utterly satisfying pieces of cringe for you all to dine on, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, before we start our first course, give me one moment to talk to you about my business, Chimera Miniatures. As you may know, I started this channel as a way to get a little bit of free advertising for my miniatures business. Basically, I put out a hopefully entertaining video, and maybe you go check out my miniatures. Of course, links are in the description. I specialize in 2 types of miniatures. One is known as a custom kit bash. This is where I take the bits and pieces of various miniatures, cobble them together, repaint them, and give you a completely one-of-a-kind miniature that you will not find an exact replica of anywhere else. So it makes an excellent gift if you have someone in your life who loves miniatures, but miniatures, it can be hard to buy for people because you don't know what they have, but I guarantee you they won't have the kit bash you buy for them if you buy from Chimera Miniatures. The other specialty of my business is the not safe for work repainted HeroClix miniatures. Of course, HeroClix is a tabletop war game featuring miniatures of various famous comic book characters, and what I have done is I have repainted them to be sans clothing. Now, I do want to address a comment from a previous video where I was told that someone was hesitant to buy one of these not safe for work miniatures, as I do have to censor the images not only for YouTube, but also eBay and Mercari where I sell them, and they weren't really sure with what they'd be getting in the end. So if you see one of these that you like and you would like to see an uncensored image, please reach out to me via email. I would be happy to send you I'd be happy to take a new photo of the image and send you an unedited one. I also do take commissions. I recently finished a 10 miniature custom commission job of miniatures from the show The Boys. So if you have certain miniatures that you would love to see and nobody's making them, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to see what I can do. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Now let's get to that first course of cringe.
Oh my god.
Our first course of cringe is not something you will find on any subreddit. In fact, you will only find it on this channel. This conversation is between a friend of mine and someone they met on FetLife. Now, if you are unaware what FetLife is, you are not alone. Until my friend sent me these screenshots, I too was not aware of what this was. I had to look it up. But according to Wikipedia, FetLife is a social networking website that serves people interested in BDSM, fetishism, and kink. On its homepage, FetLife describes itself as like Facebook, but run by kinksters like you and me. So, as you might have been able to gather by now, the fet in the name refers to fetish. FetLife distinguishes itself from competitors by emphasizing itself as a social network rather than a dating site. It is on principle supportive of fringe sexual practices. Now, I have crossed out the names on this conversation. Everyone is entitled to their privacy, but a little bit of backstory about my friend. My friend is a cisgendered female bisexual who is also polyamorous. She is currently married to her husband and will be having a civil marriage to her girlfriend in 2025. As is the stereotype of bisexual women, she is interested in one man and mostly otherwise just interested in women. And according to her FetLife profile, she is a 35-year-old female switch. This is her conversation with someone who identifies, at least on the website, as a 50-year-old male dom. Bad for me as you're not single. Why not move it up a year if you don't like odd-numbered years? You're superstitious, I take it? I am too sometimes. I believe they're talking about the date of her upcoming ceremony. I am also not interested in men. Both of those facts are stated on my profile. I like odd numbers, which is why 2025. Yeah, I read that, but I thought you were making an exception for me, blank emoji. Thanks for letting me down easy, and good luck with everything. Okay, so far not too bad. Was there anything in my messages indicating that I was making any advances towards you? I was just playing. Good day to you and your mean self. The audacity to call yourself a dom and immediately ignore a clear boundary is astounding. Sort yourself out before involving anyone in your life in that capacity. Are you mean much? Am I mean often? I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but no, I'm not often mean, but I have no patience for doms thinking they can ignore or disrespect anyone's boundaries. There's too many folk like that, specifically men like that, in this community. A community that should be a safe space for everyone. Boundaries are important and should be respected and followed. I have not ignored anything. I was just talking with you and trying to flirt a bit, obviously unsuccessfully. I haven't been aggressive or disrespectful. I simply said I hoped you would make an exception for me in you not dating men stance. And that was basically just a joke, because I know that is highly unlikely. No disrespect intended. I am just trying to find some cool people to chat with, and more importantly, to make a sexual or non-sexual connection with. Again, no disrespect intended. Let's unpack that. Contacting someone and trying to flirt after seeing the boundary is both ignoring that boundary and disrespecting it. Calling someone mean who asked a fairly clear question is aggressive. Whether you intended to disrespect that boundary or not is irrelevant. You overstepped, and when I called you out, you doubled down and started insulting me. If you were so offended and disrespected, why did you respond to my message? You knew I was a guy. As soon as I realized you were not interested, I tried to end the conversation respectfully. Instead of just saying goodbye, you started to get mean. And yes, I called you out on being mean. That's not disrespect. That is just honesty. Good day to you, and best of luck in your ventures. I was not offended by a message. I am friends with guys, and I don't have any problem making connections with them. I continued to respond because the next person might not be brave enough. I am trying to extend some wisdom to you that will keep future people you are interested in safe. You tried to dismiss the conversation with a statement that you don't care about my boundaries. That is really inappropriate, especially in a community that thrives on boundaries. I assumed a man who's a decade and a half my senior would have enough sense to be appropriate and respectful, but clearly you've forgotten some very important things from your childhood. I would say you give this thread to anybody to read, and they would say you are the mean, inappropriate, disrespectful one, not me. Maybe you should reflect on your actions here and work on being respectful, non-judgmental to people you don't know. After all, isn't this lifestyle based on people not being judgmental and respecting everyone? I forgive you though. You have a wonderful day today, and sorry to have bothered you. Oh, I already have let a few other folk read it. Not one of them, including the men, said I was being mean. I haven't been judgmental at all. I have been stating facts. I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't know why I would need to be forgiven. You should reflect on boundaries. When someone says no, that means no. Not maybe, not she will make an exception. It means no. And then my friend ended the conversation by linking a website called embracesexualwellness.com to an article called A Beginner's Guide to Kink, BDSM, and Fetish. I mean, were her words harsh to the guy? Absolutely. I wouldn't say she was being mean. I'd say if anybody, again, I don't know how much of what their conversation was before the stuff she sent me, but I was one of the people that she sent this to see if she was being too mean, and I was like, no, absolutely not. If someone is disrespecting your boundaries, whether it's online or in person, it is, they deserve to be called out on it. I am a straight man myself, and I would definitely say that my kinks are very vanilla. But the thing is, I have many friends in the LGBTQ plus community, many friends in various kink communities, and at the end of the day, respect is key. And no matter who you are, no matter what you're into, you both deserve to be respected, and you are required to respect others. And this guy was not. And it's definitely, I always think it's funny when these so-called doms get their feelings hurt when people call them out on their bad behavior. Oh, you're so dominant. Oh, you're a total alpha bro. Oh no, words hurt my fifis. Which in that case, sub up or shut up, I guess. I don't know. Is that offensive? I don't know if that's offensive. I should probably take that out, but you know what? We'll leave it in. Hashtag cancel Mr. Sean.
Oh my god.
We now come to our second course of cringe, which I found for all of you lovely people on the subreddit r/justneckbeardthings. This particular dish comes in the form of a female neckbeard, aka a legbeard's, Twitter posts. Oh my god, why are grown men saying their wives don't let them do things? Why are grown men asking their wives' permission to make decisions? Women should not control men. Stop imposing your will on your husbands. It affects the entire family and is a terrible example for your children. So I don't know if this woman is married, but the thing is, in any good partnership, if you want to go do something, you're going to run it by your partner first, both the woman running it by the man running it by the woman, just the partner running it by the other partner. This isn't about control, it's about respecting your partner and making sure also that you just haven't forgotten that the two of you already have plans. Literally, on my wedding day, at the reception, my friend who also was our flower dude came up to me and he said, "Hey man, just so you know, next Friday, I'm having a bonfire, boys only. You should totally come by." And my wife was standing right there, said, "Oh my god, you should totally go to that." And I did, and had she not been standing right by me, I would have been like, "Hey, are you okay if I go to my pal's, bros only bonfire on Friday?" And if she'd been like, "Oh, I thought we were doing this on Friday," then I would have been like, "Oh, cool." Or if she's like, "Well, I kind of wanted to do this," it would have been like, I would have tried to make it work and accommodate if we had other plans. But at the end of the day, you don't have these conversations. You don't ask permission because the other person is controlling you. You do it because your partner and you are a team, and teams communicate and work together. "Men, show me pictures of what you would want the mothers of your kids wearing in public below." That's going to be whatever she damn well pleases. I don't want to have kids myself, but any guy who has gone up to a woman and gone, "Hey, I want to have children with you," you damn well better respect their autonomy enough to be okay with how they wish to express themselves. And if you're not, well, you should find someone else to have children with, because clearly the two of you aren't compatible. And honestly, if you can't find someone who you value their autonomy over what you would want them to do, you should probably just be alone. "I have a friend whose dad cheated on her mom from my hometown. Her mom stayed with her dad, even though her dad was known to be a total flirt and cheated all the time." Did you sleep with your friend's dad? Guess what? She stuck it out. They did separate after the kids grew up, but the kids grew up to be married, happy, and healthy. Would it have been better the mother leave while the kids were growing up because of her feelings? Right, tradcons? It's all about the woman's feelings, right? Just leave. Getting upset about cheating is a choice. Worrying about what he's doing is a choice. Look, if you're okay with being disrespected, lady, that's your thing. No kink shame, no kink same, but personally, I value someone who respects themselves and demands that their partner have respect for them as well, a little more over the simple trad rules. Like, both of my grandmothers had boyfriends before my grandfathers, but after they married my grandfathers, each side of the family, both people in that relationship were completely devoted to one another. They were from a very traditional and conservative time, but they didn't go out and cheat on their spouses. You know why? Because traditional values do have loyalty in them. Personally, I believe if you are even thinking about cheating on your partner, like seriously considering like what if, maybe I could totally do it, you are already disrespecting your partner beyond forgiveness. So to actually go out and cheat What the fuck's wrong with you? And why would anybody want to stay with someone who respects them that little? I don't understand people sometimes. If a woman brings up abuse or cheating as the default to why women are divorcing men, I know they are either neurotic, stupid, or disingenuous. Anyone who isn't blind knows that most men cannot cheat. Abuse is not rampant. They just use this because women avoid accountability at all costs. It's always men's fault. I mean, the thing is, if you were to ask why men are divorcing women, you'd probably get the same answer. Usually the people that initiate the divorce are the wronged party. The women who aren't taking accountability, who are doing things that it's their fault that the marriage is failing, in that case it's typically the husband who's going to go, you know what, I want a divorce. But in the case of the husband being a total piece of shit, it's going to be the woman that wants a divorce. So no, if someone brings up things that men are doing as to why women are divorcing men, they're not neurotic, stupid, or disingenuous. It's because you're asking the wronged party why they wanted a divorce, so you'd get the same answer for men. That's what we call a flawed subject pool, or a very guided question. Usually people who want a divorce want one because the other person did something wrong. There are rare cases where somebody is doing something wrong, gets found out, and wants a divorce in order to be able to go on and continue their bad behavior, but that, I believe, is the minority. Men, please reply to this with Instagram pictures of a woman that would signal to you that she is fun only. Send me wifey examples too. Favorite the best and worst ones below. Alright, for me, in all honesty, that's going to be the same picture because, you know what, I would want my wifey to be fun. My wifey is fun. You act like women can't be DTF, want to have a good time, tattooed, dyed hair, and still be perfectly fine to bring home to mommy and daddy. You're picking someone to spend your life with. Wouldn't you want someone that's fun? I want to be with someone whose idea of a good time is a little more exciting than putting on a nice dress and a pearl necklace and vacuuming the living room. That's why I asked my wife to marry me. I don't really know where we got this idea that girls that are suitable to be wives will just be sitting at home waiting for the perfect man to come and put a ring on their finger is the norm. Women have always been able to go out and have a good time and have fun, and men have still wanted to marry them. This idealized version of women that everyone associates with the 1950s was actually created in the 1960s for sitcoms to coincide with morality boards and what people were allowed to show on television. There has never been a time in history where men and women haven't been able to go out in public together, dance, drink, have a good time, and quite possibly fuck all before ever walking down the aisle. People who talk about trad wives being the best are no different than people who idolize anime waifus because you are idolizing something that has never truly existed, at least not in the way you envision it. Men, what is the most annoying thing about talking to women? I mean, probably the same thing that's the worst thing about talking to men. I don't think gender has anything to do with it. There's just sometimes I don't want to talk to anybody. The Bible says women are no good. I mean, the Bible also says you shouldn't wear mismatched fabric, mixed dairy, and seafood, and technically you're not even allowed to take a shit. The Bible says a lot of things. A lot of those things are open to interpretation, and a lot of the early stuff was specifically a list of rules to make sure there were still going to be Jewish people 2,000 years from then. The idea of like kosher and clean animals was more about food safety than it was God not wanting you to eat pigs. Just like rules on interfaith marriage was a lot more about making sure that the children were going to be raised in the Jewish faith, as well as laws of inheritance of the land, more so than it was about it being a sin to marry outside of your religion. Like all things, the Bible is a product of when it was written, and you know, you can't, and hardly anything written 100 years ago can be taken as a, this is what we must do now, let alone something with passages written thousands of years ago. Context, people, context.
Oh my god.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to our third and final course of cringe, the dessert portion, if you will. This portion comes from r/sad cringe, where one individual gives his opinion about feathery dinosaurs. Enjoy. The pedantic obsession with scientific accuracy in our depictions of prehistoric life is taking all the fun out of our beloved dinosaurs. Are you telling me my Dilophosaurus doesn't actually have frills and can't spit poison at people? Heaven forfend. Paleontologists whine about these creatures being misrepresented, and the film industry now believes it has a responsibility to educate the public. Bullshit. Just because one clade of dinosaurs developed feathers, that doesn't mean we have to stick feathers on every damn theropod. Why would a creature as large as Tyrannosaurus develop feathers anyway? It wouldn't have any use for them. Yeah, because ostriches get so many uses out of theirs. This highlights another problem. The fact that the supposedly more accurate reconstructions look downright goofy compared to the reptilian aesthetic. If dinosaurs had been depicted like this during my childhood, I never would have developed an interest in them because it looks so fucking lame. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, like, the images I've seen of the feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex still look pretty legit. Like, I'd still be equally terrified of this thing. And this is coming from someone who absolutely loves Jurassic Park. It is my favorite movie of all time. The I fucking love science types fawning over feathered dinosaurs make me sick. These are the same people who jizz their pants every time they see an ugly black woman with an afro in a cosmetics commercial. Oh, this guy apparently has opinions about a lot of things. They know the rest of us hate it, and that's precisely why they love it. Yep, people enjoy things specifically because you don't. That's how the world works. Dinosaurs haven't been around for 65 million years. They couldn't be less relevant. So why is it suddenly so goddamn important for kids to grow up seeing the retarded feathered depictions? I don't know, man. Historical accuracy? George Washington's been dead for over 200 years, but we still depict him as a white guy, so what's your point? Oh my god, a raptor without feathers? If little Jimmy sees this, he might die. I mean, my dude, if you get right down to it, the velociraptors in Jurassic Park were way bigger than they were supposed to be. But at a certain point, yes, you don't have to depict them accurately in movies, but if the movie makers want to, there's no harm in it.
Nothing in Jurassic World is natural. We have always filled gaps in the genome with the DNA of other animals. And if their genetic code was pure, many of them would look quite different. But you didn't ask for reality. You asked for more teeth.
But if we're going to teach children and adults as well about dinosaurs, shouldn't we be showing what they probably actually looked like? If it is indeed true that dinosaurs evolved feathers, this would have been very late in their history, and would have been limited to a few species of dromaeosaur. In their eagerness to ruin our beloved dinosaurs, dude, I love dinosaurs and it still weirds me out that you keep saying that. These killjoys have applied feathers to every dinosaurs they can get their grubby hands on. I do like to think that they wash their hands before touching the dinosaurs. You know, safety and preservation first. Dinosaurs are like land, they're not making any more of them. By exercising no restraint, they've made their agenda very obvious. We've seen the same phenomenon in architecture. Oh, now you know about buildings, cool. Liberal modernists, due to their high mutational load, love ugly things and hate beauty, and they're forcing their warped vision on the rest of us. They take great pleasure in spoiling our enjoyment. Yep, because once again, people just really love loving things that you hate, and hating things that you love, because you're the main character, buddy. Likewise, these cretins who claim to prefer the feathered versions are no different to the virtue-signaling liberals who say, I prefer girls with curves. You're not fooling anyone. As someone who likes girls with curves, I'm not trying to fool anyone, buddy. I like thick thighs and fat titties, alright? I'm not trying to hide it from people. And it's a lot easier to get those on a bigger girl. Obesity isn't synonymous with beauty. Curves are also not synonymous with obesity. Unfeathered dinosaurs sure as hell aren't synonymous with cool. Okay, but they're also not necessarily uncool. It sucks, and all of us with eyes in our heads can see that. Anyone who says otherwise is a dirty, rotten liar. They've taken the most awesome creature that ever lived and turned them into a joke. The mighty Tyrannosaurus has been reduced to an object of ridicule. Dude, what circles are you running in where people are making fun of the Tyrannosaurus? Imagine if King Kong had fought a feathered Tyrannosaurus. It would look absurd. I mean, look, man, a giant monkey fighting a giant lizard versus a giant monkey fighting a giant chicken, both are kind of absurd. They are supposed to be reptiles, and reptiles don't have plumage. Go stick feathers on a crocodile and see how stupid it looks. I mean, I can't speak for putting feathers on a crocodile, but have you seen a coatl in D&D based on the god Quetzalcoatl, which is just a winged feathered serpent? I mean, that looks pretty darn badass, dude. I actually think this could be tied to the LGBT cult and the influx of women in paleontology. Nah, dude, if that was the reason, they'd also have depicted dinosaurs as being all pink with sparkles. We saw the same thing happen when women began infiltrating the automotive industry. Yep, those sneaky women getting the jobs didn't even realize they were working there until they ruined all the cars. In what had traditionally been a male-dominated space, the masculine focus on cool and beautiful aesthetics was replaced with a feminine focus on safety. Yeah, because who wants to survive a car crash? As someone who was in a car crash and due to the safety features on my car walked away without a scratch, if it was women that made all the safety features, thank you, women. Thank you for saving my life. Big, carnivorous dinosaurs. They're pretty monstrous. Pretty masculine, we might say. You know, except for all the ones in Jurassic Park that were female. What would covering them in feathers do? It would castrate them. It would make them kinda gay. I mean, I bought a hat at the Renaissance Fair and then bought a big old feather to put in it. Did that make me kinda gay? I mean, if it did, oh well, it's a nice hat. Goes really well with my bard costume. This is a part of a wider societal trend that has been going on for many years now, where everything awesome that brings us joy has to be ruined. These insufferable C words derive immense satisfaction from rubbing our faces in the shit. It's the only way they can feel good about themselves. Wow, there is a lot of flavors to unpack in this dessert. I mean, it started off pretty simple. This guy just didn't like the feathered dinosaurs, and if I'm being honest, yeah, I kind of aesthetically just prefer the lizard looking ones too, but that's because that's what I grew up with. That's what I was familiar with. By the time we figured out that some of these guys might have had colorful feathers, I really wasn't looking into the world of dinosaurs as much anymore. I haven't had the same level of exposure. But like I said, Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies, and I do think it's interesting that even with everything Jurassic Park gets wrong, the idea that dinosaurs had a lot in common with modern-day birds is actually far more accurate than I heard that theory, Dr. Grant's theory in the first movie, and was like, that's the dumbest thing ever. No way these things became birds. And it's like, hey, maybe they did. But then as he keeps talking about these dinosaurs, you get that this is really a thinly veiled rant about how he feels that the world is emasculating men, neutering men, trying to erase masculinity, and they're doing that by, I don't know, giving the dinosaurs feathers? Like, this guy feels personally attacked. Like, Like people are attacking his gender and his sense of identity by putting feathers on dinosaurs because we discovered scientifically that they might have had them. It's clear that this guy has some deeper-seated issues beyond just what dinosaurs actually looked like, and I wish that he was able to admit that to himself, that his real issue isn't the dinosaurs, but that his insecurities and his paranoia and his inability to change with the world and feel like the ever-changing world is in fact just out to attack him. I wish he could admit all these things to himself and maybe try and figure out how he can successfully live in this world instead of hiding behind this dinosaur rant. If anything, I would say this dessert, it starts off sweet and a little tangy, but the finishing notes are kind of bittersweet, with an undertone of melancholy. And anyway, everybody, I do so hope that you enjoyed our delectable 3-course meal of cringe. And if you enjoyed this series and would like to see me do this one a little bit more, where we just kind of find some fun posts, not necessarily with any real theme, other than I guess this one was maybe could be seen as like a thread about people disrespecting women. But if you would like to see some of these just kind of like freeform, cringy posts, videos, please let me know in the comments. Be sure to go to our to my subreddit to post your questions for the upcoming Q&A video. And with that being said, everybody, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye.